Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades, and we are back to Love Island All Stars episode 12. Okay, episode 12. But before we get into this episode, as I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so we know I'm on doing videos. And let's talk about this episode. So we come right back to the boys now having to pick the girls who they're gonna couple off with. Let me tell you, it was a tense, what should we say, 5 minutes? Yeah, tense 5 minutes. So Tyler did his spiel and picked Hannah, which we knew was going to happen. Because he weren't going to pick Kaz. There was nothing there between him and Kaz, and he knows it. So Callum, of course, was happy that Tom had got Molly. So Callum did his spiel and picked Georgia S. I was just like, yeah. We knew that was coming, because he was like, at last, as soon as she sat down, and she's like, yes, Georgia S, you ain't feeling Callum all that much, are you? You're just gonna put a little face on it though, aren't you? Yes, she's just gonna put a little face on it. And then Chris, that was the hardest thing to watch. In that, like, the hardest thing to watch Chris picking, because he honestly did not know what to do. I honestly believe that he would have picked Arabella to try and sort things out with Arabella, even though, yes, they may have just ended it, but that was in the heat of the moment and emotions was all over the place. So I thought he might pick Arabella to try and sort things out with her, because they kind of were good together at the end of the day. I ain't gonna lie, they were good together before this fucking shit just blew the whole wide open. So he ended up picking Kaz, and Kaz was like really shocked, and I was shocked too, because Kaz was like, "What, me?" And he went, "Yeah." So she turned, she was like, "Okay," hooked Arabella, and then went and sat down, but then did tell Chris that he was fucked up for that, basically. Kaz told him he was rude because he just embarrassed Arabella for that. And he just turned and he was like, but they're not in anything that they finished. I was just like, does that mean that Arabella and Chris still have unfinished business? Because they'll have to sort their shit out at some point, do you know what I mean? And I think with the way how Chris dealt with that recoupling and the things that he said, yeah, could have made him look like somewhat of a dick, to be fair. Yeah, anyway. So Toby picked Arabella, so I'm like, okay, so they're definitely gonna need to have a conversation, because Arabella is staying in the villa. Do you know what I'm saying? So Anton did a damn good speech, to be fair, and he picked Georgia H, and he was honest with his speech. So Libby is the only one left, and Mitch is the only one to pick. All I will say from now is Mitch's speech was shite. Absolute gutter shite. And the fact that he turned around, because he didn't really know what to say, you could tell that he was ad-libbing this shit. He didn't really mean the words that were coming out of his mouth. Josh was laughing his fucking head off. And he then turned around to the lads and he said, "I'm drawing blanks here." And I'm like, you've got this gorgeous girl stood here listening to you make shit up in your mind without telling the truth about she's a reflection of you looking. No one's a reflection of you looking in the mirror but you. But actually, I will say Georgia S would be the female version of Mitch, because she's messy as hell too. I felt so sorry for Libby at that, because I thought she definitely deserved better. So basically on the rest of the night, you see Chris apologise to Kaz for not actually celebrating her in his statement. And Kaz was basically saying to him, all I heard you was you just felt like it was dig after dig after dig, and that you was being rude because you were huffing and puffing, and then you chose my name. So she was like, well, what the hell's going on here? But Kaz didn't understand the situation between him and Arabella and where they come to. So when Chris explained it to her, she then had the clarity that she needed, basically. So she was like, she was happy to go ahead, happy for him to share a bed. Arabella said that she was happy that Toby picked her. And basically she's saying that there's something there between her and Toby. And I'm like, my girl, shush. Shush. At the end of the day, you are hurt. You are in a hurt place. Your emotions are running high. And to be fair, I kind of think in the back of her mind that she did want Chris to pick her. Even though she says to the girls that she was not expecting Chris to pick her, I still think Arabella thought that that little piece of her, like we always do, would think he would pick me just to show me that, you know what, he actually still does like me in that way. Even if we shut things down, but we were talking in the height of emotion, we were both coming from an angry place. But Chris didn't do that. So now Arabella's kind of saving face at the end of the day. So Mitch, you see, start going at Josh for laughing. So Josh was saying, hold on a minute, don't put your actions onto me, because that's what he was doing, putting his actions onto Mitch, because Mitch don't accept responsibility for any of the shit that he causes, for any of the shit that he does, because nobody told Mitch to get up there and do this whole speech that was so disingenuous. If a word could have been used for this dude, that would be it. That was so disingenuous, it was disgusting at the end of the day, to the point that everybody knew that Libby deserved better than that. Do you know what I mean? So basically, Josh asked him outright if he liked Libby, and he said he don't know if he likes Libby or not. But then Josh said, but in your speech you made it seem as though you was locking yourself off for Libby. So why would you say that if you don't even know whether you like her or not? Because Mitch doesn't know what he wants. Mitch does not know what he wants. So as they're all getting ready for bed, you see Chris just kind of slide through the dressing room where the girls are getting ready. It's only 3 girls in there at the point in time, and Sophie is one of them. And basically he says to Sophie, just so you know, I'm not going to stop grafting you. And then he left. I was like, oh, see, Chris is making his intentions known. I was like, okay, my guy, we'll see how that works out for you. Okay. So Georgia S already saying that she believes that Tom would have picked her. If it wasn't down to the public vote, she believes that Tom would have picked her, and she's confident in that. I don't think, judging by what Tom has been saying, that he would have picked her, because it was very close between Georgia S and Molly. And I kind of think that he would have given Molly the chance rather than Georgia S, because he already knows her in that sense. But we'll see how things play out as time goes on. I'm telling you, she didn't like the fact that Molly won out. She didn't like the fact that Molly won out. And right now, Georgia S is playing in Callum's face. Georgia S is fully playing in Callum's face. Basically, it came to the morning and Tom was having a conversation, and basically Tom said that he was happy with the public vote because he wanted to get to know Molly, and he owes it to Molly to see what happened with her. And Molly said that she likes Tom as well. And Josh is there saying that he believes that Chris will be hot on his heels in terms of Sophie. Chris will be hot on your heels. He's already done said he ain't gonna stop grafting that girl till he gets her. And this is where I said Georgia S was proper quiet when the girls were chatting, because this girl wanted Tom for real. She wanted Tom. But then you see Georgia S starting to compare Toby and Tom against Callum. And I'm like, this girl's full of shit. This girl is raw playing in the faces of everybody. I'm telling you, she's the female version of Mitch the bitch. She is the female version of that man. Like, seriously. This is the penultimate. And I say Georgia S is playing in Callum's face. Because Georgia S goes and has this conversation with Tom. And wants to know the situation between Tom and Molly. And she turns around and asked him who he would have picked if he'd given the choice. And in a roundabout way, he still says that he would have picked Molly, because he wanted to get to know her, because he'd already known, as I said, known Georgia S already. He wanted to get to know Molly. So she tells him that she fancies him. His response was, of course you do. Imagine that. A girl's telling a man that she likes that she fancies them, and all their response is, of course you do. Not, I fancy you too. Georgia S had to ask Tom if he fancied her, and he said yes. And I just thought, my God, my girl, Georgia S, give your head a swivel, man. Like, seriously, what are you doing? Like, what are you honestly doing? And I was just saying, oh, she's playing these silly games. She's playing these silly games. She really, really, really is. Like, seriously is. So then you go to Mitch and Libby and they're having a conversation. And she wanted to know where Mitch's head is at. Everybody knows where Mitch's head is at, even yourself, Libby. I think she just wanted confirmation that this man don't really want to be with her and don't really want to, you know, see anything going with her at the end of the day. Even though Libby seems to believe that they're in this good space and they could be good for each other, or they're in a special space or what have you. Because so Libby was giving him the excuses that he can be emotional, but then he's not articulate. No. He's not emotional and he's not articulate, my love, because he was chatting shit in the recoupling. He was chatting shit. What he was saying, he didn't believe. He was lying in terms of what he was saying, and that's why it was a shame for you stood there listening to him chatting shit, trying to think of things that he needed to say in order to make things better for you, when in actuality he wasn't feeling you in the first place. It weren't because he was emotional, not articulate, because his mouth would not let him chat shit that he wanted to say. Basically, that's what it came down to. So he's basically telling her that he doesn't know how he feels about her. So okay, he's telling her, he's being actually transparent at this time. Who would have thought it is actually being transparent at this time? And basically Libby decides at that point to let him go, and they've decided that they're going to be friends. So then you see Callum and George S having a conversation, and he's like hugging her from behind, and I'm like, this man is locked into this girl for real, like locked into her. So she then tells him about the chat that she had with Tom. She glossed over a few things that she said and had the conversation with Tom, and I'm just like, this girl Georgia is sitting here telling lies to Callum's face about the conversation that she had with Tom. There was little bits that she said, but then she tells lies of omission because she doesn't say all the rest of it either. And then she turns around and then writes him for not getting to know anyone else, his enthusiastic being with him. And I'm like, you know what? Georgia S, these lies are going to come home to roost. These lies are going to come home to roost. Because I can't believe the switcheroony this girl was playing. The absolute switcheroony. Then we're coming to the end of the night, and Arabella and Chris are having a conversation, and basically they wanted to talk to clear the air when things have calmed. And Arabella was saying that she didn't want any hard feelings, but didn't think either of them were right. I call bullshit on that, because at the end of the day, you wanted Chris to be open and honest. He was, but you didn't like him being open and honest with you because you didn't like what you was hearing at that point in time. So to say that neither one of you were right is a cop out for me at the end of the day. I don't believe Arabella was in the right in terms of the reaction that she gave to Chris and the discussion that they had, because I think she had full-on miscommunication when it came to what Chris was saying, because I think Chris made hell sense, to be fair, but I think Arabella didn't like the fact that she was essentially being placed second to Sophie. She didn't like the fact that someone had told her that he's got a crush on someone else, or had this crush on someone else, or then on top of that wouldn't be showing her any affection while getting to know two women at the same time, because doesn't believe that it'd be right. She got fucked up by that, basically, and that's what happened between them. So Chris basically turned around and said it's forgotten. Like, she was trying to dig more from him, and I'm like, you're getting from him what you're getting from him now. Chris has completely shut himself off to you, like completely shut himself off. But he did also apologise to her for the speech that he gave in regards to when he was picking Kaz at the fire pit. You thought that shit would have ended there, but no, not with these two and not with Love Island. So then it comes with them gathering around the fire pit and them playing a game of truth or dare with a twist now. You know, truth or dare doesn't end well for anybody at the end of the day unless you're getting the good end of the shtick. So basically what they had to do was pass a card using the lips, so sucking it onto the lips and then passing it on to the next person, and the person having to take it off them and pass it on to the next person without dropping it. So whoever drops it would then have to take the truth or dare. And it's with the twist, it's the others in the group that will give that truth or dare basically. So Tyler dropped it and his dare was to snog Kaz for 20 seconds. Kaz was like, the fuck, Josh? You literally did me dirty with that. That's what Kaz was thinking. Kaz just did her date. Really did. Because I honestly thought that, you know, Tyler, being Tyler, would probably pick a truth. But no. He went for that dare. And Kaz, my girl, stood true and strong with her hands on her hips as he kissed her. As if to say, yeah, you can kiss me, but you ain't getting nothing else from me. It's just a game at the end of the day. So that ended that. I was like, okay. So Georgia H was next, and she was told by Tyler, apart from Anton, you have to kiss 2 guys you were the most attracted to. So she Chris kiss. And shocker and fucking shocker, she kissed Mitch. She kissed Mitch. I'm like, after the bullshit that he did with Libby, you kissed Mitch. But to be fair, Georgia H has been saying that she has liked Mitch from the start. Like, she has been saying that. So she then sits down and has the gumption at first to say, it's just an attraction, not something she would pursue, but then pointed dead at Mitch and said, you maybe, as in I maybe want to pursue you. I said if Libby's face could cut glass, she would have sharpened those edges and cut somebody with it with a swiftness, because that was Georgia H, that was dirty. And then Anton as well ended up having to kiss the girl you think will be the most disloyal. I thought it should be Georgia S, to be fair, but no. He kisses Arabella. Now, I don't think it's because he really thought that she was a disloyal person. I think it's because he's got an interest in Arabella and he really wanted to kiss her. That's the only reason why I thought he went for Arabella, but Arabella didn't like that in the slightest. She didn't like it at all. Sophie's turn. And Georgia S asked Sophie if she had the choice to recouple last night, who would she have picked and why? And I'm thinking, yeah, Georgia S, you're very transparent there, you know, because I think you wanted that question more for Tom than you did for Sophie, but you know what, Sophie came up first. So Sophie turned around and basically said, Josh, because she feels that they have a good connection at the moment. And I was like, well, okay. She said that in front of everybody. She literally said Chris here in front of everybody. So she literally put her feelings out there to say that Josh was the one that she was interested in from the get-go. That's a little bit of egg on face for someone, innit? Like, honestly, egg on face for someone. So then it was Libby's turn. And Lib had to kiss 2 boys apart from Mitch, who she fancies. My girl did her thing. Libby did her thing to the point that the back of her fucking outfit that she was wearing, some mesh see-through thing, fucking popped out of the back. That girl macked herself onto Chris, my God. And then she grabbed Toby and I was like, go on with it, Libby. She grabbed Toby out of his seat and launched up with Toby, grabbed her behind her ass and they kissed, standing as they were stood up and he was holding her. And I thought, if she launched her good self, because she's got bunda. Libby has bunda. Launched herself up into that man's arms. If she'd have done that to Mitch, Mitch would have been on his back, because Mitch looks weak and feeble. Mitch was just like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Yeah, you didn't know Libby had it in her, did you? She's dark horses, Libby. Very dark horses, Libby. Tyler had to strip tease for Hannah all the way down to his boxes, starting from the fire pit. At least it was better than Josh's. Let's just put it this way. At least Tyler's strip tease was better than Josh's, because Josh has got no rhythm. Josh has got no rhythm in the slightest. So basically, Josh had to pick reasons for your fave Islander and reasons for your worst Islander. He said his fave Islander was Hannah because she's his OG, which is understandable. And reasons for his worst Islander is messing Mitch. And he said he is not good with his words and then tried to deflect his wrongs onto him because he was laughing. I said, Josh was right. Mitch was like, oh, I don't give a shit about what anybody says about me because they've all got these negative things say about me. I know they're not true. No, they are true. Because not only did you get negative shit in your season, Mitch, you're getting negative shit in this season. You need to start taking on board what these people are saying at the end of the day, because you need to start accepting some responsibility for your behaviour. So Chris was Snug the Islander who is playing the biggest game, and I was like, please pick Georgia S. Like, honestly, please pick Georgia S. But no, he ended up kissing Arabella, and I thought that was hella disrespectful, because there was no need for you to do that. No need for you to do that. And he basically turned around and said that he kissed her because she called him disingenuous, but she turned around and says, well, I thought we squashed this before we even came to this point. And Chris was like, yeah, but it's just a game. Oh, and she was like, we'll talk about this afterwards. And he goes, no, because I've already explained, it's just a game. But no, Chris, you actually needed to talk about that situation shit right there, so, because you was hella hurt by that comment, and we could tell that you was hella hurt by that comment. The fact that you would pick her to be the Islander who's playing the biggest game when she's not, and you know she's not. So Georgia Hess had to have a three-way kiss with two top guys other than Callum. And of course, she picked Tom. But then, surprise, surprise, she picked Toby on top of that. And I thought, what? What game is this girl playing right now? Even though she turned around and she said the kiss was great. I said, what kiss though? Because I don't think he really got a kiss, because Toby kept backing away, because Tom was literally trying to stick his tongue either near his mouth or near your mouth. But either way, Toby was not comfortable with this three-way kiss, so I don't know how much of a three-way kiss she got. And when she sat back down, she tried to say that Tom was the better kisser. I call bullshit on that as well. Because she was constantly trying to suck off the face of Toby at the end of the day. So, hey ho, here we go. But the treat was Callum, and he wanted the truth. First question that came out was bollocks. So he said he wanted a ruthless question. So Anton gave him what he asked for. So Anton basically said, how many girls have you slept with since Molly? I was like, okay, well, there you have it. There you have it at the end of the day. What are you going to say to that then? And Callum said 16 people in 6 months. The faces on all of them dropped down. Now, all I'm going to say is, at the end of the day, yeah, him and Molly were not together. He was single by that point, yeah. He was single. He could do what the fuck he wanted within that time with his body, and have his fun and have his cake and eat it too if he really wanted to. It had nothing to do with Molly. It had nothing to do with them. And I think there was a little bit of shame going on there. And I shouldn't have shamed him in terms of what he decided that he wanted to do. As long as he was open and honest with the partners that he was with, and it was consensual between them, that they both knew what was what and what was going on, then it's got nothing to do with anybody else. Molly was pissed at that. Molly was pissed. And Georgia S was looking like, oh my God, like she was hella disgusted. So she turned around and she says, well, you do you. And he said, yeah, well, that's what I did. And I said, key component, he had no ties with anybody. He was single. And this is why I'm saying, if Molly was not still feeling Callum, she wouldn't be upset by that information. She would not give a shit about that information. But obviously she did. And there's a reason why. But that's where the episode ended right there. So, as I always say, my renegades, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so when you know I'm doing videos. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Peace out.